Welcome back to my channel, everybody. If you know me, you know who I am. If you don't, my name is Trey Fab. I'm a React content creator. I like to react to different things, whether that be TikTok, YouTube, drama nonsense, or basketball, different basketball content in general, and the modern NBA and things of that sort. So if you like basketball insight, I'm the guy for you. And if you like brain rot, I'm the guy for you. With that being said, today I'm doing a video essay. I like to do these little video essays. I sit here, I yap for a fat minute while you listen to me talk about why I feel a certain way about a certain topic, and I show you a bunch of things on the screen that backs up what I'm saying. So with that being said, today we're going to be talking about why I think LeBron James is the GOAT, undeniably, 100%. So, as you guys can see, Chicago fan, Chicago native, and I even got D-Rose on the wall next to LeBron James. Now, before I get this started, I want you guys to understand, I have Michael Jordan 2, all time, number 2. I just feel that LeBron James is 1, and I'm not going to sit here and give you my arguments why in this little short intro, because I'm about to yap for a fat minute into why I think why. But hopefully when you listen to me talk and you see the things I put on the screen and you hear the things I have to say, my opinions put on paper, and you understand maybe there's an argument to be had here. Maybe LeBron is as good as people say he is. And even if you are a Jordan fan and you think LeBron is just trash, hopefully you can listen to this and go, okay, maybe the argument isn't too crazy. I may not agree with it, but maybe it's not crazy when people say LeBron is the GOAT. With that being said, sit back, relax, open a Sprite Cranberry.
One query. Want a Sprite Cranberry?
Let's get started. Welcome to the NBA's ultimate debate. LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. If you are rolling your eyes, this is not another GOAT debate. This isn't your barbershop's tired 6 rings versus 4 script. We're diving into evidence, context, and having rebuttals for common myths. Whether you worship his airness or ride with the king, you'll be entertained and maybe even convinced by the case that LeBron James is the greater player. Let's start by looking at LeBron's unmatched career achievements, the stuff that even Jordan fans have to nod at. And then we'll debunk the usual pro-Jordan arguments, yes, including the 6-0 in the finals and the DPOY trophy. We'll also call out some of the biased narratives pushed by certain media haters, such as Scap Attack, my boy, and Uncut Hoops. By the end, even if you still side with MJ, you'll at least admit LeBron's GOAT case is stronger than ever. So, let's get started. First, we have to appreciate the insane resume LeBron has built over 21 seasons, now 22. Here are just a few of LeBron's jaw-dropping achievements that no one in the NBA history, not even Jordan, can match. The 3-1 finals comeback in 2016. LeBron led the Cleveland Cavaliers from a 3-1 deficit to beat the 73-win Golden State Warriors in the 2016 NBA Finals. How unprecedented was this? Well, teams trailing 3-1 in the finals are a combined 0-32 in the NBA history before this series. In other words, what LeBron and the Cavs pulled off was considered impossible, and it wasn't against some fluke team, it was against the record-breaking Warriors with the first ever unanimous MVP, Steph Curry. LeBron's performance was so dominant that he led both teams in all 5 major stats for the entire finals. Points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks, all led by one man, LeBron James. No player has ever done that in any championship series, ever. Oh, and he just casually gave Cleveland its first championship and probably its last, considering what happened to Cleveland today against the Pacers. 8 consecutive final appearances. LeBron made the NBA Finals 8 years in a row, 2011 through 2018. Pause and think about that for a second. You had people starting middle school watching LeBron James go to the NBA Finals, and then starting college watching LeBron James go to the NBA Finals. An entire decade of dominance in which LeBron annually won his conference. In the modern era, the only other players to ever sniff that kind of streak were the Celtics in the 1960s. LeBron did it across 2 different teams with entirely different supporting cast, coaches, and even in 2 different decades. Making 1 finals is hard. Making 8 straight is unbelievable. It's a feat even Jordan himself didn't accomplish. All-time leading scorer. LeBron James passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar back in 2023. He also hit 40,000 regular points recently, a milestone that has never been reached before. For context, Jordan retired with 32,292 points. LeBron has nearly 10,000 more points than MJ and counting. Longevity is a part of greatness, and LeBron pairing Iron Man durability with elite production is how he's putting the scoring record out of reach. It is not just about longevity padding stats. LeBron led the league in scoring in 2008, and even as recently as 2022, at the age of 37, he averaged 30.3 points per game, 8.2 rebounds, and 6.2 assists, showing that at his peak and beyond, he's a Swiss Army knife that can get you whatever you need on the court. The triple-double finals average. In 2017 finals, LeBron became the first player ever in NBA history to average a triple-double in the finals. Listen to that again. Not Magic, not Oscar, not Bird. LeBron. Against a juggernaut Golden State team featuring Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green. LeBron put up an absurd 33.6 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists per game over 5 games. Yes, the Cavs lost the series, but LeBron's individual performance was so insane that it set an all-time NBA record. It's the kind of series where you look at the numbers and think, what more could one guy do? The answer? Nothing. He left it all on the court, literally. Longevity and year 21 brilliance. At 38 years old, in his 20th season, LeBron was still playing at an all-NBA level, averaging around 30 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists on 50% shooting. This is unprecedented. Normally by 38, NBA legends are doing farewell tours or have been retired. Jordan at 38 was on the Wizards putting up modest numbers and dealing with injuries. LeBron at 38 was dropping 47 points on his birthday and carrying the Lakers to victories. Heading into his 22nd season at the age of 40, he's still a top player in the league. His longevity isn't just about hanging on. He's dominating in year 21 the way no one in NBA history ever has before. When you're basically as good in year 20 as you were in year 10, you're a freak in nature in the best way. All around greatness. LeBron's career totals in every category are mind-boggling. He's not just a scoring king. He's 4th all-time in assists and climbing, top 10 in steals in playoff history. He's the only player top 10 in total points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. No one has ever been that well-rounded at such elite levels. Jordan was amazing, but even MJ can't match the way LeBron fills every column of the stat sheet. That man has over 10,000 assists and 10,000 rebounds to go along with his scoring. In fact, LeBron is the only player ever with 30,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, and 10,000 assists in a career. We've never seen a combination of scoring, playmaking, and rebounding like this from one player. It's like having Karl Malone, Magic Johnson, and Scottie Pippen rolled into one guy. That's just a snapshot, but you get the picture. LeBron's portfolio is thick. More finals trips than Jordan, more total points, comparable, if not better, all-around stats, and unique records that showcase he do-it-all impact. Now, achievements are great, but GOAT debates always involve counter-arguments, so let's address the big pro-Jordan talking points heads on, and let's bring some receipts. So, Jordan supporters have a few go-to lines to shut down any LeBron GOAT talk. We've all heard them. MJ is 6-0 in the finals, LeBron has losses, Jordan has more rings, more scoring titles, a defensive player of the year, etc. Let's get down to it, huh? It's time to put these arguments under a microscope. We're not denying Jordan's greatness here. The man is a legend, but context matters. And when you shine a light on these points, they're not quite as ironclad as they seem. Let's break down the big ones. The 6-0 in the finals argument. His mythical 6-0 finals record, Jordan never lost in the finals. True. But does that alone make him greater? I'd say no, and here's why. The ring count argument isn't a GOAT trump card. Final record versus final appearances. Jordan went 6 for 6 in the finals, but he also only made it 6 times. LeBron has gone 10 times with a 4-6 record. If making the finals and winning is the goal, then getting to more of them is also a sign of greatness. LeBron dominated his era to reach the finals way more often than Jordan did. Sure, he didn't win them all. but losing in the finals means you were good enough to get there in the first place. Jordan, for instance, lost in the first round of the playoffs 3 times in the 80s. We don't use those against him as series losses the way people hold LeBron's finals losses against him. The level of competition, the quality of competition each faced in the finals is night and day. Jordan's finals opponents were great teams, no doubt, but LeBron's finals opponents have often been all-time great teams or dynasties. For example, Jordan's Bulls were favorites in most of their finals. MJ never faced a team in the finals as stacked as the 2017 Golden State Warriors that LeBron battled. You know, that 73-9 win team that added Kevin Durant, an MVP and scoring champ, in his prime. LeBron ran into those Warrior dynasty 4 times in the finals, including the 2017 and 2018 super teams. 2017-2018 super teams. That would likely steamroll any 90s team that you want to put them up against. He also faced Tim Duncan's Spurs dynasty 3 times, 2007, 2013, and 2014. By comparison, look at Jordan's finals foes. The 91 Lakers were on their last legs. Magic was 31, Kareem was already retired. The 92 Blazers and 93 Suns were solid, but they're not all-time great teams. And the late 90s Jazz were very good, back-to-back 62-plus win seasons, but again, essentially a 2-star team in Stockton and Malone. In fact, an analysis by the Big Lead found that LeBron's finals opponents were considerably tougher on average than the teams Jordan faced. Tim Duncan in 2007, for instance, is arguably a greater player than anyone Jordan played against in the finals, outside of Magic Johnson by name's sake. And that 2007 Spurs team was a powerhouse that swept LeBron's underdog Cavs. Jordan never had to face a finals opponent with 4 Hall of Famers in their prime, like LeBron did against the Warriors. So the 6-0 record needs context. MJ was usually favored with dominant squads, whereas LeBron often dragged his team in as the underdog against legendary squads. Rings are a team accomplishment. Basketball is a team game, and rings shouldn't be the end-all individual GOAT debates. Robert Horry has 7 rings. Bill Russell has 11. Does that make him greater than Jordan? Of course not. Jordan had the benefit of consistent Hall of Fame teammates like Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Horace Grant and Kukoc and Steve Kerr and B.J. Armstrong, and I could keep going. A Hall of Fame coach in Phil Jackson in a stable organization. LeBron's career has seen him carry some pretty mediocre supporting cast to heights they had no business reaching. The 2007 Cavs and the 2018 Cavs being prime example. Those rosters wouldn't sniff a finals if it wasn't for LeBron. Another thing people don't talk about enough is what happens when LeBron leaves a team. They usually collapse. When he left the Cavs in 2010, they went from 61 wins to 19. And set a record for the most consecutive losses. When he left Miami in 2014, they went from 4 straight finals appearances to missing the playoffs entirely. When he left Cleveland again in 2018, same story, finals to lottery team. Even the Lakers struggle when he misses time. We see this time and time again. And the only player they seem to be losing each time is LeBron James. Now compare that to Jordan when he retired in 93. The Bulls still won 55 games and made it to the second round. LeBron doesn't just make teams better, he is the system. When he's gone, everything falls apart. That's the definition of value. Also, Jordan's Bulls never faced a Game 7 in the finals, largely because they were the better team each time. LeBron has been to the Game 7 in the finals twice, 2013 and 2016, and won both, including that famous 2016 win on the road when he pushed to the brink of the biggest stage of them all, if we remember the block, and he came in clutch, even though you guys like to say he isn't. Let's also revisit Game 6 of the 2013 NBA Finals. With the Heat trailing by 10 points in the fourth quarter, LeBron James ignited a comeback by scoring 16 points in that period, effectively erasing that deficit and setting the stage for Ray Allen's iconic three-pointer that forced overtime. LeBron didn't just contribute, he dominated, finishing the game with a triple-double, 32 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. While Ray's shot is forever etched in history, is LeBron's performance that made it possible, including a three LeBron made the play beforehand to even cut it to that point. If Jordan had delivered a performance like this, it would be immortalized forever in every highlight reel. Yet when LeBron does it, it's often overlooked. And the only thing people talk about is his miss, the Ray Allen dish from Chris Bosh, and how he got saved. Jordan never had to play a game 7 in the finals, which is a testament to how superior his team was. But it also means we never saw him in a do-or-die finals moment. LeBron's been there. LeBron's done that. In summary, 6-0 is impressive, but it's not a mic drop argument. It ignores the seasons Jordan didn't make the finals and the insane competition LeBron had to face when he did. If anything, LeBron making 10 finals in the modern era of higher talent pool and free agency movement is arguably a greater feat than Jordan's perfect 6 in a smaller sample. Weaker NBA, watered down competition, and no, that's not my words. That was his own teammate that said that about the NBA expansion that happened in the 90s. More finals, more longevity at the top, and beating tougher opponents tilt the scales a bit in my favor for LeBron James. Now, let's talk about the 1988 Defensive Player of the Year award. Jordan fans often bring up that MJ won a Defensive Player of the Year award in 1988. Something LeBron hasn't done, and it's true. Jordan was a DPOY in 88, which is rare feat for a guard, and it looks great on his resume. But if we examine that award closely, there are questions about its validity that have recently come to light, and they're pretty eye-opening. A detailed investigation by Yahoo Sports in 2024 by NBA analysts Vincent Goodwill and Tom Haberstruth dug into Jordan's 1988 defensive stats and found some serious statistical irregularities in plain terms. It looks like the Bulls' home scorekeeper was inflating MJ's defensive stats, steals, and blocks during that season. Consider these facts. In 1987 and 88, Jordan's official stats showed him averaging 3.2 steals and 1.6 blocks per game. Incredible numbers and a big reason he won DPOY. But when you split home versus road, a huge disparity appears. At home in Chicago, he was credited 165 steals and 87 blocks on the road. On the road, only 94 steals and 47 blocks. So almost 75% more steals and blocks at home than on the road. Okay? So unless Chicago Stadium had magical defensive energy, something was fishy. For comparison, other top defenders had more balanced splits. The inflation of Jordan was off the charts. One game's tape showed the Bulls being credited with 10 steals for 10 turnovers by Atlanta. This implies that the Hawks never threw the ball out of bounds, never traveled, no offensive foul, none of that. Every turnover was a steal, magically for the Bulls. Yeah, right. Watching the tape, Haberstruth found that Jordan was credited with 18 more steals than he actually made in the sample of games that he reviewed. What does this mean? It suggests that the block and steals numbers in the 1988 season were padded by generous scoring decisions at home. If you adjust MJ's stats to a normal home-road split, his averages would have been more like 2.6 steals and 1.3 blocks. Still great, but it's not the eye-opening league-leading stats that would have swayed voters to give him the DPOY over big men like Mark Eaton or Hakeem Olajuwon. Essentially, the award might have been won on inflated numbers, a bit of home cooking in the stat department. In fact, the Bulls stat keeper from that era, Bob Rosenberg, retired recently and declined to comment on those revelations. An innocent oversight, maybe, but it's cloud over that trophy, even putting aside the stat panding scandal. Consider the DPOY voting as subjective. Jordan won that year primarily because of the steals and blocks plus his reputation. LeBron, for comparison, has several all-defensive selections and was the DPOY runner-up in 2013. Many felt he should have won that year. LeBron in his prime was an elite defender, chasing down blocks. I mean, come on, bro. Game 7. Blocked by James!
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup! Oh, blocked by James!
Guarding all 5 positions, making all defensive first team 5 times. He didn't snag a DPOY. It's not because he wasn't capable, it's partly because he often had to conserve his energy for offense. And in 2013, voters oddly gave Marc Gasol the award despite Gasol not even being first team all defense while LeBron was. The point is, using one award as your GOAT yardstick is thin, especially when Jordan has a DPOY, but it's suspect. So a closer look at Michael Jordan's 1988 DPOY raises questions about his validity. So it shouldn't hold much weight, and it should be scrutinized. Now, as far as other accolades, yes, Jordan has more MVPs, 5 to LeBron's 4, and more scoring titles, 10 to LeBron's 1. But LeBron has more All-NBA selections, a record 19. In context behind these matter. What is the context? Jordan was an offensive assassin in a system built for him to score. And he absolutely racked up awards in an era with fewer superstars at his level. LeBron had to contend with peak Kobe, Duncan, Curry, Durant. I could keep going. Splitting MVPs, and still LeBron's award cabinet is overflowing. The difference is as stark as Jordan fans make it seem, especially once you realize some of these awards have caveats. The myth of Jordan's untouchable aura. Jordan's legacy comes with this near mythical aura, the idea that he was invincible, a killer who never failed on the biggest stage, whereas LeBron supposedly chokes or doesn't have that same killer instinct. Let's dispel that. Jordan did fail on big stages, just not in the finals. Before Scottie Pippen became an all-star, MJ couldn't get out the first round. He was swept twice early in his career. Even in his comeback year, 1995, Jordan returned in time for the playoffs and lost in the second round to Orlando, with some costly late-game turnovers by Mike in Game 1 of that series, by the way. LeBron, on the other hand, has had disappointments. 2011 finals, that was rough. But he also has a laundry list of clutch performances, multiple Game 7 wins, and the most Game 7 points in playoff game ever. 45 points versus Boston in 2018. Buzzer beater playoff shots. He has more playoff buzzer beaters than Jordan. And historic elimination game performances. 33.7 points per game in elimination games. One of the highest ever. So the narrative that Jordan was clutch and LeBron isn't is largely based on selective memory. Both have had clutch moments and failures, but LeBron's come through in pressure situations plenty times. Just ask the Warrior fans in Game 7. Intangibles like killer instincts are hard to measure, but consider this. LeBron has faced more winner-go-home final scenarios and emerged victorious, and when facing elimination, LeBron's stats rise to the occasion, 33.7 points per game. Jordan, by virtue of dominating with great teams, rarely had to face elimination in the finals. LeBron's road was tougher, and he's proven time and time again that he can get it done. Game 6 in Boston with 45, 15, and 5 when they were down 3-2 will always be iconic. Also, again, the competition level matters. Jordan did not have to face dynasties the same way LeBron did. It's easier to look invincible when you're not going up against a team of greater or even equal talent to you. LeBron created some of his own obstacles by switching teams. We'll get to that in a second. But he also never had the luxury of one stable powerhouse squad for a decade. Speaking of switching teams, let's turn that into a positive because it is one. One of the coolest aspects of LeBron's career is how it's been a journey across different teams and eras and how he succeeded everywhere. This is sometimes used against him, the whole he had to team up with stars angle. But in reality, it showcases versatility and leadership that Jordan was never tested on. LeBron didn't just win in one franchise. He won championships with 3 different teams, Miami, Cleveland, and LA. And he got finals MVP each time on those teams. LeBron is the first team in any sports history, NBA, NFL, MLB, to have 3 finals MVP on 3 different franchises. That means he was the driving force behind every title on every team he joined, adapting to the new coaches' systems, to adapting to the new teammates in different conferences. LeBron made it work each time. Jordan, by contrast, stayed with the same team, the same coach, and had the same sidekick for all 6 of his rings in Chicago. We never saw Jordan try to take, say, a middling team from the dead and take it to a title contender. LeBron did that with Cleveland. When Jordan switched teams at the age of 38 and he went to Washington, he couldn't even make the playoffs in 2 seasons. Meanwhile, 38-year-old LeBron James and the Lakers were in the Western Conference Finals in 2023. So who proved they can win in more situations? Clearly, LeBron. His success is multiple contexts is a testament to his all-around impact. He's basically plug and played his greatness in completely different situations and got chips. Now let's revisit the level of competition. It's worth emphasizing the era and competition point here in broader terms. Jordan's prime was in an NBA that had fewer teams with multiple superstars. The talent was a bit more spread out or diluted. Also because the league added new expansion teams in the late 80s and 90s, which diluted the talent pool, 6 teams were added during Jordan's era, meaning more rosters, stocked with more mediocre players. LeBron's era has seen super teams and loaded rosters everywhere. The Warriors had 4 All-Stars at once. The Spurs had 3 Hall of Famers. Even the Celtics' Big Three in 2008 formed to stop LeBron early on. The overall skill level and athleticism in the league has kept rising. Despite this, LeBron managed to dominate against different generations, from duels with the late 2000s Big Three Celtics, prime Kobe, to battles with the Warriors dynasty, and now even competing with players like Giannis, Durant, Jokic, and I could continue on. He's basically had to face all-time great players or teams in nearly every finals. Duncan Spurs, Stephen Clay's Warriors with KD, and even the MVP Dirk Nowitzki team back in 2011. As much as we want to say LeBron did not play well, and I will admit that he didn't, I feel, and this is obviously my opinion, that team is probably better than any team Jordan had to face. Jordan finals opponent featured 2 MVPs total. Magic, back in 91, and Malone in 97. And none with the sheer collection of talent like teams LeBron face. This matters when evaluating the GOAT. LeBron had to go through a gauntlet in the finals round that Jordan simply didn't. Adapting to rule changes and styles. You guys ready for this? This is where we get to ball knowledge. LeBron's career spanned a major shift in how basketball is played, from the early 2000s style to the pace and space 3-point revolution of the 2010s, and he thrived through it all. Jordan played in an era tailored to isolation scoring, with hand-checking allowed, but zone defenses illegal. In fact, under the old rules, teams couldn't implement the complex zone and help defense schemes that exist now. Defenders basically had to guard their man or risk an illegal defense call. This meant superstars like Jordan often got true one-on-one matchups with only late help. As one analyst puts it, Jordan played during a time where the illegal defense rule existed. Without the ability to play a zone or even show multiple bodies at a star, defensive schemes were less elaborate. Can you imagine a league nowadays where superstars are left in single coverage? That was the reality for MJ. The league removed illegal defense in 2001, allowing modern zone concepts, and also added the defensive 3-second rule and eliminated hand-checking on the perimeter by 2004 and 5. These changes meant that when LeBron came into the league, defenses could clog the lane with zone principles and load up on a superstar in ways they couldn't against MJ. Yes, perimeter defenders couldn't hand-check LeBron as much, a common old head talking point. But team defenses could throw far more sophisticated looks at him. And what did LeBron do? He dissected them with his passing and basketball IQ. or he developed a better outside shot to punish sagging defenses. The result, LeBron has thrived in both the tougher defensive zones of the 2000s and the high-paced, three-happy era of the 2010s. If Jordan faced the kind of defensive schemes LeBron sees, or if LeBron got to go one-on-one in MJ's illegal defense era, who benefits? We can't say for sure, but I'm going to say the edge clearly goes to LeBron. He evolved with the game and remained elite. Jordan didn't have to adapt to these drastic stylistic shifts. Pace and stats. Some like to say the 80s and 90s were the most physical, defensive. Today's game is faster and easier to rack up these stats. It's true, scoring is up in today's game, but remember, pace was actually high in the 80s too. Jordan's highest scored season, 37.1 points per game in 1987, was done in a pace and space environment of the late 80s, where defense was still figuring things out, and with the illegal D in place as mentioned, in the slow grind of the late 90s, Jordan's efficiency dipped a bit. LeBron's efficiency numbers have been stellar in a bit slower pace, 2010's Cavs and Heat, and faster pace, 2020's Lakers. The man put up 25 points per game for 19 straight seasons. He has more 25 points per game seasons than Jordan played seasons in the NBA. So era differences can cut both ways, but it's clear LeBron's game would translate in any era. A 6'9" freight train, okay, with court vision and basketball IQ, yeah, that works in 1985 or 2025. In short, LeBron's case is bolstered by the fact that he proved himself in more scenarios against arguably tougher overall competition. If you dropped LeBron onto Jordan's Bulls teams in the 90s, do they win 6 or more? I'd wager yes. If you put Jordan on LeBron's team, does he beat that 2017 Warriors? Highly questionable. These hypotheticals are obviously subjective, but it's telling that even some former players and analysts concede LeBron's road was more difficult. Calling out the media bias and haters. No LeBron versus Jordan discussion is complete without addressing the narratives that swirl around them. For years, certain sports media figures and content creators have frankly had it out for LeBron's legacy. Some of it is nostalgia for Jordan, some of it is just generating controversy for clicks, and some might be genuine if misguided belief. Let's shine a light on a couple of these habitual LeBron down players and break down what's going on. Exhibit A, Scap Attack. Jay Skapanik and the YouTube anti-LeBron brigade, if you haven't heard, there's a cottage industry on YouTube of channels dedicated to arguing that Michael Jordan is untouchable and LeBron is an overhyped fraud. I'm paraphrasing a bit, but only slightly. One prominent creator is a guy who runs the channel Scap Attack. This guy churns out videos with titles like Jordan vs. LeBron, the most pathetic debate in sports history. Where, surprise, he claims it's not even close and Jordan is ahead by miles. Or LeBron is a narcissist snake planning to build a final super team. He calls LeBron self-obsessed, a league-destroying super teaming snake, and even an insufferable liar in his content. Charming, right? It's basically an anti-LeBron propaganda channel with a dash of humor, if you want to call it that. Another channel, Uncut Hoops, similarly pumps out videos tearing down LeBron's every achievement. They've gone as far as calling LeBron's era a failure or labeling LeBron's fans as delusional. These guys often parrot each other and found a segment of fans who just love to hate on LeBron. So why do these narratives persist and what's their deal? A few reasons. Nostalgia and hero worship. Many in sports media and older fans grew up idolizing Michael Jordan. He was a global icon in a less saturated media era. There's a natural reluctance to let that image be surpassed. For some, Jordan isn't just a basketball player. He's a legend that represents their youth or their good old days of the NBA. Admitting LeBron might be greater feels like heresy to them. Blasphemy. So they hold on to any argument, no matter how thin, to keep Jordan on the pedestal. They can cloud objective analysis when Scap Attack calls the GOAT debate pathetic and fake. He's reflecting that sentiment to him and his followers Jordan is more religion than player, and LeBron challenging that is sacrilege. Controversy sells. Let's be honest. Saying LeBron is great and maybe even better than MJ is a measured take, but not one that generates outrage. However, calling LeBron a fraud or saying he destroyed the NBA, now that gets you some clicks. Some of these content creators know exactly what they're doing. They provoke the huge LeBron fan base, who then share and argue, which boosts views. It's almost performative. Sports debate shows on TV, hello Skip, I've been doing this for years. Skip Bayless made a career of nitpicking LeBron and never giving him credit because it riles people up. Scap Attack even appeared on Fox Sports Radio, basically mocking LeBron's biggest simps in the media and celebrating that people were finally seeing LeBron's GOAT case crumble. That was right after the 2023 playoffs when the Lakers got eliminated, and he gleefully predicted that LeBron sticking around would just tarnish his legacy more. To guys like this, everything LeBron does is spun negatively. If he keeps playing, he's stat padding or hurting his legacy. If he ever speaks positively about himself, he's narcissistic. If he defers to his teammates, he lacks the killer instinct. If he takes over, he's padding stats. It's a no-win situation in their narrative. Why? Because the conclusion, Jordan GOAT, LeBron not, is predetermined, and the facts are cherry-picked or twisted to support it. Misrepresenting accomplishments. A common tactic is to downplay LeBron's achievements. For example, the Scab Attack crowd will call the 2020 Bubble Championship a fluke or a Mickey Mouse ring to cheapen it. They'll say LeBron needed super teams, ignoring that Jordan had Hall of Fame help too, and that LeBron's teams were underdogs, often. They harp on LeBron's 4-6 finals record without the context we discussed. Essentially, they'll latch onto any perceived weakness, the 2011 meltdown, finals losses, coach firings, the decision TV special, you name it, and blow it up as it defines his entire career. Meanwhile, they sweep under the rug anything Jordan that may have been his shortcomings. Like we mentioned, early playoff exits, the Wizard years, etc. Or the advantages he had, playing with one team, stable support, no super team opponents. It's a one-sided narrative that doesn't hold up under fair scrutiny. Psychology of haters. On a human level, LeBron has become incredibly hyped since he was a teenager, the chosen one. Some people just enjoy rooting for the king to fall. When creators and pundits reveal in being the anti-LeBron voice because it gives them a niche and a following, it's similar to how some fans hated on Tom Brady or other generational greats. They get fatigue of seeing them succeed and the media praise, so they swing the pendulum hard to the other way. Confirmation bias then kicks in and they'll only highlight things that confirm their anti-LeBron stance. By calling out guys like Scap Attack and Uncut Hoops, we're not saying you can't prefer Jordan. Of course you can. But viewers should recognize when content is driven by bias or for entertainment shock value, rather than a balanced analysis. If a YouTuber is calling LeBron a snake and saying his era is a failure, that tells you more about the YouTuber's agenda than about LeBron. The reality is, LeBron's legacy threatens a lot of old narratives, and some folks will do mental gymnastics to deny him full credit. As informed fans, we should be able to cut through that noise, and if you are a Jordan fan watching, I hope even you can chuckle at some of the absurd anti-LeBron rhetoric gets. I mean, come on, LeBron destroyed the league. The league is thriving, okay? TV ratings and global popularity are high. If anything, LeBron's player empowerment moves have changed how teams work. It's evolution, it's not destruction. As we near the end of this argument, here are a few underappreciated points that I'd like to bolster to help the LeBron GOAT case. So, let's load up the clip. Historic final performances. Beyond the 2016 comeback and the 2017 triple-double average, LeBron's 2015 finals mention, he led an injury-depleted Cavs team against the Warriors and took them to 6 games, averaging 35.8 points per game, 13.3 rebounds per game, and 8.8 assists per game. Monster numbers. Basically dragging a team whose second best healthy player was Timothy Mozgov to a near upset of a 67-win squad. He didn't win Finals MVP since the Cavs lost, but some have argued that he should have even gotten it through defeat. That's how insane he was. The opposing team, Iguodala, got MVP for holding, keep in mind, holding LeBron to these stats. Jordan never had a finals where he was the clear underdog, having to carry that much weight. Playoff records. LeBron is the all-time leader in playoff points, is top 5 in playoff assists and rebounds, and has most playoff wins of any player ever. He also has the highest career final scoring average for any player who's played more than one finals. MJ averaged slightly more, 33.6 versus LeBron's 28 in finals. But LeBron's overall final stats across points, rebounds, assists are arguably more impressive, given he often faced stiffer teams. And if you include 10 finals to Jordan's 6, the cumulative production is heavily in LeBron's favor. All-around impact. LeBron can reasonably be argued as a top 5 player ever. Scoring, passing, basketball IQ. Jordan was just a pure scorer. Though, not by much as people think. MJ's 30.1 point per game, LeBron's 27.2 points per game. LeBron has had a higher career field goal percentage, largely because of shot selection and vision, but LeBron is a far superior passer. He could end up top 3 all-time assists and a more versatile defender. In his prime, he could guard 1 through 5. Jordan mostly guarded 1 through 3. And don't ask Magic Johnson what happened in that finals and why the Bulls ended up taking over. He doesn't say Jordan is the one that guarded him, because it wasn't. It was Scottie Pippen picking Magic Johnson up full court. LeBron's size and strength gives him a rebounding edge too. 7.5 rebounds per game to Jordan's 6.2. So as a basketball player with no qualifiers, LeBron affects more facets of the game. He's a Swiss Army knife that does everything. Off the court leadership and pressure. Now, this may not count for GOAT for some of you, but it is worth noting that LeBron's career has been under a microscope since he was 16 years old. He was anointed the chosen one on Sports Illustrated when he was a junior in high school. The pressure and the expectations he's carried has been immense, and somehow he lived up and exceeded them. Jordan became Jordan in the NBA. He wasn't dealing with the national hype as a teen or social media scrutiny 24/7. LeBron is also a pioneer in player empowerment, deciding to form a super team in Miami, which, yes, drew hate, but also resulted in 2 rings and 4 finals. Then going back to Cleveland and delivering on his promise of a title, then going to LA and winning there, he took control of his destiny and proved he could deliver in each scenario. That's a different kind of greatness, not just being great in one situation, but navigating through the storm of media and still conquering these challenges. Even as we speak, LeBron is still adding to his legacy. He's not coasting on his past achievements. He's still an all-star, and he's still capable of MVP level stretches. By the time he hangs it up, his counting stats will be untouchable. We might see 45,000 points, 12,000 assists, and 12,000 rebounds. Who knows? Jordan's story was largely written by the age of 35, and LeBron's is still being written at the age of 40. So, I've thrown to you as much as I can. I've thrown to you as many facts as I can, in the short amount of time that I could. I gave you the context because context matters. Context matters so much to the fact that when LeBron passed Jordan, everyone loved to bring up the fact. When LeBron passed Jordan in the scoring list, everyone loved to bring up the fact that it took him 100 more games. But no one wants to talk about the fact that it took him 1,400 less shots to do so. We all ignore context. Jordan is the GOAT. 6 rings. Aura. If that's all you want to talk about, then Jordan's your GOAT. But if you actually want to look at these things, it will tell a different story. So who's the GOAT? LeBron or Jordan? After examining all this, the case for LeBron James as the greatest of all time is strong. We've highlighted LeBron's unparalleled achievements. The man basically has a career highlight reel that could be 15 minutes by itself. We've refuted the common Jordan arguments by adding missing context. No, 6-0 isn't untouchable when you consider everything. Yes, even MJ's DPOY has a shadow over it, and yes, LeBron has faced insane competition and succeeded in the spite of it. LeBron's career is a testament to versatility, longevity, and rising to every challenge. He's excelled in every era, under every rule change, with every team construction thrown at him. He's broken records that stood for decades. He's delivered clutch moments that will be talked about for decades to come. And, perhaps most impressively, he's done that all under an intense spotlight, media coverage, and criticism that Jordan never had to experience during his playing days. Now, none of this is to tear Michael Jordan down. He is firmly the second greatest. At worst, 1A to 1B. MJ's legacy is secure. 6 finals MVPs and a global icon status doesn't fade. But the goal here was to make a argument, a case for LeBron. Hopefully I was able to show you a lot of the pro-Jordan talking points are more nostalgia about his legend than fact. Meanwhile, LeBron's resume just keeps adding pages. He does everything with tougher squads. The guy who had a player who averaged 15 points per game at the age of 22 be his second, his sidekick, his best player in the finals, and didn't even play half the finals. The guy who time and time again is averaging outrageous numbers on insane efficiency is a guy that deserves to be in the conversation. I understand we have emotional attachments and memories. Maybe you just like Jordan more, or you value that perfect finals record, and that's your tiebreaker, and that's fine. But you cannot deny that LeBron has a case in this debate. It's not pathetic, it's not fake, but it is real, and it's backed by evidence. In fact, many analysts and former players, such as Isaiah Thomas, to even some of Jordan's teammates, have acknowledged LeBron's case. Even Kareem, whose scoring record LeBron broke, has said LeBron perhaps has the edge because the all-time record, the game, and the longevity at the end of the day is something to be admired. If you value undefeated finals and scoring titles, you lean Jordan. If you value all-around impact, longevity, level of competition, you lean LeBron. But when you weigh everything, LeBron James checks more boxes with a heavier pencil. And one more thing. This script may be pro-LeBron, but it's all love for the game. We can celebrate greatness in different forms. Jordan set the standard, and LeBron built on it, and in many ways surpassed it. That doesn't diminish Jordan. It just means the sport evolves. The GOAT of one era can be eclipsed by the GOAT of the next, and that's how records get broken and legends are made. LeBron stands on Jordan's shoulders, just as Jordan stood on those before him. In 50 years, when fans debate this over, when they're looking over different highlight reels, they'll look at LeBron's total body of work and likely conclude what we're arguing here. LeBron is the greatest player of all time. And if you still aren't convinced, well, at least you can't say I didn't bring you facts. So, this has to be one of my longest video essays. One of my hardest too, because there's a bunch of arguments I still wanted to put in there. I wasn't sure what exactly to put in. I wasn't sure what exactly to put out. I already knew when I was writing this shit down, I was sitting at 12 pages and I went, fuck, this is probably going to be an hour. And we're already at 48 minutes, so close. But at the end of the day, right? When we talk about LeBron and Jordan, when we talk about this shit, this is not me diminishing Jordan or trying to talk shit on him. This is me talking about the aura of Jordan, how great he is. And he was great. But guys, the numbers I give you is just, it's not comparable. Imagine someone getting a final MVP. Just imagine someone getting a final MVP because they held the other team's best player to 35 points per game. Almost 36. 35 points per game, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. Alright. The numbers itself is insane. And the scrutiny that he's under is also insane. Many players minimize under the scrutiny. They become weak. They fold. They can't handle it. And they break. LeBron has not. He has shown time and time again, even with all the scrutiny, he can go out there and he can win. And again, this is a team sport. I wanted to make sure I brought that up. I talked about it a little bit. I should have talked about it more. LeBron did have good teammates. I'm not acting like he didn't. But we act like Jordan just went out there and won by himself. We're acting like Jordan didn't have Scottie Pippen pick up Magic Johnson full court. We're acting like Jordan did not have one of the best rebounders of all time in Horace Grant. And then after losing him, he had one of the best rebounders of all time in Dennis Rodman. Okay, we're acting like Jordan didn't have B.J. Armstrong. We're acting like Jordan didn't have Steve Kerr, one of the best shooters of all time. Okay, we're acting like Jordan didn't have these players on his team when he did. He did. Jordan had an all-time great team. Jordan had such a great team that it was legitimately a debate between 72 and 10 Jordan team versus that 2017-2018 Golden State team on who would win in a 7-game series. I'm sorry, but if your team is in a debate with that Golden State team on who's the better team, even though a lot of people took Golden State, the fact that that was even a debate, that's enough to say that maybe it's not the fact that Jordan's on the team, it's the fact that Jordan has a stacked team, and he is great as well, but that team is amazing. We act like Phil Jackson didn't win more rings as soon as he left Chicago, went to LA, and won some more. LeBron won with coaches that we don't even hear from anymore and who have not shown to be good after they left. Ty Lue hasn't won anything since that championship. we don't even bring up, God, I forgot his name. The coach that David Blatt, is that his name? Blatt? We don't even bring him up. We don't even bring him up. Frank Vogel, what has he done? And Darvin Ham, he's an assistant right now for a Milwaukee team that got lost to the Pacers. Everyone wants to sit here and say that LeBron is this guy that's just like hurting these teams. But it seems like when LeBron is not being coached by these coaches, the coaches don't do well on other teams. When LeBron is not on that team that he was just on and took to the finals and he leaves, that team doesn't do anything the year after. And all they lost was LeBron. So yeah, I'm going to stop yapping. Hopefully this was enough if you are a Jordan fan to just understand, dog. I don't even think you watched this far. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you watched this far. You probably watched 2 minutes and you called it a day. But if you didn't make it this far, I hope you understand. I'm a Chicago fan. I like Jordan. I do. I have Jordan too. I have D-Rose on my wall. But the thing is, I love the game of basketball, okay? I love basketball, and I understand that things evolve and things change. LeBron has just done way too much with less on different teams in different eras. For me to look at that and to not have him as the GOAT, to me, it's just insane. The stuff he did, the stuff he continues to do, the play he puts up at this age, it's just insane. The man has like 3 Hall of Fame careers in one career. And that's enough said. So maybe you still have Jordan at 1. If you're a Jordan fan and you listen this far. That's fair. I just have LeBron at 1 and I have Jordan 2. And LeBron is at 1 because when I went into, this was me. When I was in middle school, I was hating on LeBron. And then when I was graduating high school, I started liking him. Okay? So, I'm sorry. We're never going to see a player do what he did. We're never going to see a player go to 8 straight finals in a row on different teams like that. I don't know how you look at that and you don't think he's great. I just don't. So, I look forward to seeing all the hate comments this probably gets. I look forward to seeing the dislike ratio is probably going to be insane. But I just hope that you guys know I like LeBron and I like Jordan. I just think LeBron is better than Jordan. But I have Jordan too. It's just that a lot of you guys that watch this, that probably leave hate comments, that's probably going to dislike this video, you have Jordan 1 and LeBron like 200th. That's the problem. You don't have to have LeBron 2. You don't have to have LeBron 3. Even Skip Bayless, someone you guys probably agree with on everything. Even Skip Bayless has LeBron 7th. I think that's kind of wild, but that's where he has LeBron. But you guys, most of you guys, will have LeBron like 200th, 100th, and think that's fair. All he's done, and think that's fair. So, if you guys like this type of content, please like, comment, and subscribe. My next video essay is not going to be as long as this one. Again, this one is super long because it was LeBron and Jordan. This will always be a debate. This will always be something long as hell. But my next one should be shorter. I'm hoping it will be shorter. I will try to make it shorter. And yeah, I appreciate you guys coming by and liking the content. Until next time, I love you. I'll see you. Peace out. Deuces.